Good morning, my name is Loran Rishar. I'm a Belgian geochemist and associate professor in the Department of Geology of the School of Mining and Geosciences. I'm responsible for the undergraduate program in geology that I will present you in a moment. And what I hope to do is to demonstrate to you that geology is important for Kazakhstan in terms of the development of the country by discovering new resources, but also by taking care of the environment, which is associated with exploration activities. So let me start with the presentation. Geology is the study of the Earth from its origins 4.5 billion years ago to its dynamic evolution through plate tectonics. On this picture you have representation of the accretion of the Earth from meteoritic material, which gave rise to our planet. Plate tectonics explains all geological phenomena that happens on the Earth, from volcanisms and earthquake to the control of the climate. In geology, we study minerals and rocks, which are the materials of the Earth, and I will show you two examples of what we do. This is a picture of a giant quartz crystal in a pegmatite field in Akjailau in eastern Kazakhstan. And here we have students who are describing a sedimentary core in a Jurassic sandstone from the central Caspian basin. And under the supervision of Professor Milovan Fustic, who is our professor of sedimentology. The Earth is a very dynamic planet, and so we also study the displacement of continents. And here you have a representation of the Arabian plate that moves towards the Eurasian plate and separates from Africa with the opening of the Red Sea. And here is our professor of structural geology explaining how to analyze rock deformations on the field and take care of these and interpret these tectonic movements. Geology is also concerned with natural resources. The natural resources that we benefit from are created by geological processes. It is the case of ore deposits, which are intimately related to magmatism, melting in the upper mantle of the Earth, and transporting metals towards the surface, where mining engineers can extract these metals. And so every type of ore deposit is related to a specific geological context. The same is true for petroleum deposits. Petroleum forms as a result of the accumulation of organic matter in the marine or continental environment, and then this organic matter gets buried through geologic time and transformed ultimately into petroleum at depth in the Earth. Geology is also related to water resources, because water resources are hosted in porous rocks, and you have to understand how the water moves and interact with these rocks. Finally, geologists are also involved into climate change. We know from the analysis of ice cores from the Antarctica and Greenland that the CO2 content of the atmosphere will remain pretty much below 300 ppm level up to recent times, where we are now 25% above that value. In 2018, the CO2 content of the atmosphere raised to a maximum of 407 ppm. So this is deduced by the analysis of gas bubbles in ice cores. So to fight against this accumulation of anthropogenic CO2 in the atmosphere, geologists have started to think on how to sequester carbon dioxide in rocks. And this is a pilot site in Iceland. Iceland is a volcanic island with a lot of basaltic rocks. And so what geologists and engineers do there is to capture the CO2 which is produced from a geothermal plant and re-inject it into basaltic rocks at depth underground. So the CO2 reacts with magnesium-bearing minerals from the basalt and form a mineral which is magnesite, which is a magnesium carbonate. And this way the carbon dioxide is transformed into a mineral and does not go back to the atmosphere. So in this geology program, for which I am responsible, we will teach you various disciplines, including mineralogy, sedimentology, igneous metamorphic and sedimentary petrology, which is the study of rocks, structural geology, and also how to make geologic maps on the field. In the first year of the program, I will give you a course on the fundamentals of geology, which is a general understanding of how the planet is working and all the interactions associated with plate tectonics between volcanism, above subduction zones, and climate and weathering in mountain ranges. During the program we have a lot of field expeditions in the second and third year, but also these are field expeditions that last for 2 weeks. So in the second year we study sedimentary rocks and sedimentary geology. This is again Professor Fustic explaining Miocene formations in Aktau on the Caspian Sea coast, and how these rocks were deposited at the bottom of the ocean 10 million years ago. This is Carboniferous flood basalts in the Zaysan Basin in eastern Kazakhstan, and these are rocks that are extremely impressive to see. And in eastern Kazakhstan we will have field trips related to igneous metamorphic petrology and structural geology. All this in relation with the formation of ore deposits. So it is always nice to do field work because you are outside all the time, and then sometimes we have to camp, and after a hard day of work there is nothing as good as sitting around the fire with a cup of tea and talk with the friends about what we have done during the day. After our bachelor program, we are currently developing graduate programs in geology, and the rationale for developing these graduate programs is that exploration geology is going to be very important in the coming years, because we need to find new mineral deposits, new hydrocarbon resources, and all this for the development of the country. One thing to know when you extract resources from the ground, be it by mining or by producing petroleum, this has always an impact on water resources, because around mines you may have acid waters that are generated by interacting with minerals that have been extracted from the earth. And the petroleum industry uses a lot of water to produce heavy oil, for instance. And water is becoming critical in Central Asia, not only in Kazakhstan, but with the neighboring countries also. So geologists have some responsibility with respect to these issues. And so we have developed we are developing two new programs at the master level. One will be exploration geology, so directed towards finding new mineral deposits and new hydrocarbon resources. And the second one, which will be pluridisciplinary, which concerns water resources and environmental management, because we have to take care of these water resources for the populations. I hope that with this presentation I have convinced you that geology is a fascinating field to study, and I encourage you to join our school and study geology with us. You will have fantastic years during your studies, beautiful souvenirs at the end from all the field trips that you will do, and I think that you will have a great career in Kazakhstan.